Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we are going to clear the flint tube and do a little bit of wick maintenance on this vintage Nimrod flip-top Petrol pipe lighter. If you have never owned a vintage Petrol pipe lighter, you ought to give it a shot. Invest in a bottle of fuel, pick you out an auction or two on eBay, try your shot at winning them. Chances are you can get into a lighter like this if you want to spend a little bit of time and effort narrowing down, finding just the one you want for just the right price. You can probably get into one of these that is either in working order or in good enough condition that you can put it in working order for, I would say, in the $15 to $20 range in nice cosmetic condition. This is a slipcase lighter, so the bottom comes off and the top contains the entire workings of the lighter. All the bottom does, all that case on the bottom does, is cover the tank. Nothing wrong with that. There are plenty of other lighters that operate just the same way. We're going to go ahead and take a minute to get this lighter cleaned up. A household disinfectant wipe and a toothpick broken off on one end to be flat and then the other end sharp so that I can get it into different crevices. As I was cleaning up the top of the insert, I realized that the wheel was just spinning with the flint spring screw screwed down, which means that the old flint had to be degraded inside that tube and blocking the spring from coming all the way up. Little did I realize, and I did once I get this flint spring screw out of there, and you can see how much tension was on that. Go ahead and pull that pad off so that I don't get any more dust or anything contaminate that pad any worse than I have to. But I go ahead and measure this by the drill bit, and you can see that it looks like it's coming up way short, like more than the length of a flint. But I didn't really think that much about it. I go ahead and spin the bit for a minute anyway, and it didn't feel like it was making any progress. I thought, man, this is really going to be one of those tough ones. And then I turned it over just to see what was if there was any progress, and a flint fell out. So it still didn't, there was still some degraded flint in there, but it wasn't near as bad as it would have been having to drill through that entire flint. As you can see, once that flint came out, then I realized I didn't have very much further to go, and then I went ahead and spun it with my fingers a few more times and had all of that obstruction cleared out and ready to put a new flint into the flint tube. So I went ahead and grabbed the one that had fallen out of it a minute earlier, and just to make sure, I looked at both ends to see that it looked clean, and it was a good flint. I believe that the seller who sold it to me stuck it in there not realizing, or somebody, maybe not that seller, somebody somewhere along the way had stuck it in there not realizing that the flint tube was obstructed with the degraded flint. So we get that flint down there, followed by the flint spring and flint spring screw. Go ahead and groove that flint to make sure we got it all working in the right direction before we get it tightened all the way down. You can see it is all sparking very well, and I was able to tighten that down no problem with just my finger, whereas it had taken a screwdriver to get it loose. We are going to go ahead and take a pair of pliers and do the pull and snip method on this wick. It looks like it is the original wick and it was a little bit contaminated. So I pulled it up and then I got the scissors on it and cut it off. I think I got the majority of that contaminated, dirty part of the wick. And man, I really don't like dealing with these simply because of the exposure to asbestos and all of that. And I know the dangerous part is in the fibers, breathing of the fibers. So there's my dumbass, pulling off those fibers. So then I get paranoid about it. So I'll go ahead and stop there and get it all cleaned up, wiped up. It's one of the reasons why I keep the common household disinfectant wipes around, so that I can get all that stuff wiped up and not just have it roaming around in the air. Somebody's going to tell me I'm an idiot anyway, I'm sure. You can see that's where the wick had gone off to, was on the top of that fuel canister. So I go ahead and squeeze off in here just the right amount of Zippo fuel, and we'll get our slip case fitted back over the insert of the lighter, the inner workings. And as I said, basically the entire working mechanism. I couldn't find, or I couldn't see any markings on this insert, and the base of the lighter just says Nimrod with Cincinnati, Ohio, and the patent number. I know there are multiple models, but I'm not sure which this is. Maybe the Commander. Until next time.